Shabbat Shalom, and welcome to all of us who really look forward to engaging the sacred text of Torah in a weekly conversation. Our Sedra this week is Pekuday, Exodus chapter 38, verses 21 and following. With this Sedra, we exit Exodus. So today is a SIYYUM day, a day dedicated to herring, gefilte fish, challah, hummus, ragalach, maybe slivovitz, maybe wine, maybe grape juice, maybe Coke Zero. Let's launch the SIYYUM by reading from Exodus chapter 40, verses 33 to 38 in the Plout, page 634. Here's what it says. When Moses had finished the work, the cloud covered the tent of meeting, and the presence of the Eternal filled the tabernacle. Moses could not enter the tent of meeting because the cloud had settled upon the presence of the Eternal filled the tabernacle. When the cloud lifted from the tabernacle, the Israelites would set out on their various journeys. But if the cloud did not lift, they would not set out until such time as it did lift. For over the tabernacle a cloud of the Eternal rested by day, and fire would appear in the cloud by night, in the view of all of the house of Israel throughout their journeys. And we traditionally now say, Chazak, Chazak, v'nit chazek. Let us be strong, let us be strong, let us strengthen one another. This happens to be a little bit of actual slivovitz, and I will say, Baruch atah Adonai Eloheinu melech haolam borei pri ha'etz. Plums come from a tree. Okay. This Sedra might very well be the closest thing we have to a spreadsheet in the Torah. Moses gives a detailed accounting of every kind of material that was used in the building of the tabernacle and all of its appurtenances. The gold, the silver, the woven materials, everything is accounted for. So you might ask, why is such a spreadsheet necessary? We can assume that Moses wanted to lay out before God how carefully Bezalel and his team of artisans were in following the divine instructions. What they took in, they used, the design, perfect. After the nightmare of the golden calf, it was really important to demonstrate that the people knew how to follow the capital B boss's orders. But there was a second reason described in the Midrash. Moses was receiving criticism for his leadership. No, nothing new there. There was a lot of second guessing going on. So this spreadsheet was a public proclamation that Moses had not enriched himself, that he had not misappropriated the people's gifts, and that therefore he was totally trustworthy. The spreadsheet never succeeded in stopping the criticisms, but we can assume that at least it had some positive impact. My friends, these are crazy, threatening, dismaying times. We can't isolate ourselves in the world of Torah and pretend even on Shabbat that immediately following on the heels of our ongoing deadly encounter with COVID, we haven't found ourselves in yet another universe of pain and of fear. We are in a universe of pain and of fear. That's why I read those last verses of our Sedra with a kind of deep longing. Moses was told how to know when it was time to receive a briefing from God. When the Anan, the cloud, covered the tabernacle, Moses was not to enter that space because it was filled with kavod, the divine, glorious presence of God. With full respect to the Queen of England, and I really do know that she is in God, despite how much I hold her in high esteem and pray for her health. But please note that when the Queen is in residence at Buckingham Palace, the royal standard is flown, and when she isn't at home, the Union flag is flown. It's kind of like that Anan, the cloud, that hovered over the tabernacle. All of the Israelites could know when something of importance was happening. But the covering and uncovering of the tabernacle did something else. It signaled to the people when they should continue on to the next stage of their journey to the promised land and when they should stay put. And when the Israelites did break camp, that same cloud would lead them during the day, and that cloud filled with fire would lead them by night. The rabbis understood the Mishkan, the tabernacle, to be a symbol of an orderly world. In fact, many of the instructions surrounding the building of that tabernacle borrow phrases directly from the Genesis account of creation. God has built for us a world of order. Now, we human beings must imitate God and do the same for ourselves. God's intention in creation was to take primordial chaos, the depths of Tehom, the watery depths, and to shape it into a setting within which all of nature, all of creation, including all of us, could live in harmony. The universe was not created so as to be an empty wasteland. The world was created to be inhabited so that we creatures could lift up our finest intentions, our loftiest dreams, and move creation itself to even nobler status. The text makes clear that God wasn't about to abandon us to our tasks. The divine would be there. It's a promise. Communicating in some fashion with us. That's a promise. Guiding us through our greatest challenges. That's a promise. A cloud by day and fire by night. And that's why I read our Sedra today with such profound longing. There is no tabernacle today, and there is no cloud. There is no location in which God can readily be found. There is no direct and reliable communication with God. There are no unmistakable signs as to where we should turn next, what directions we should choose on our journey. We are alone. We are alone, despite the closing words of the book of Exodus. And it is more than reasonable to ask whether we can handle being alone as we confront the challenges of our day. We have our texts, yes, we have our texts. We have our traditions. We have our unbreakable community. We have our dreams. We have our yearnings. We have the echoing voices of our souls. But we have no cloud filled with fire, and we have no tabernacle. That's why the rabbis invented the concept of Hester Panim, a period of time in which God's very existence is hidden from us. Our teachers were not blind to reality. They knew that the words at the close of our Sedra are not operative today. So they pulled God out of the equation. And here we are. Stop here. Going to begin again, second section.